Morning YouTube. Now in this video today guys, well, that is my season done. And what a season it's been. Now at the end of the year I will do a proper look back onto the end of the year, but my season is all done and sorted. Yes, it's a little bit early. If you've watched any of the previous videos, you'll know I've got to go into hospital. Well, that's actually 4 days away. I'll be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's only going to make me better. So, as I said, all packed up, all sorted. I've got a great big list of things that needs to get done, but for the most part, this season is all done and dusted. So, I will give you a couple of quick thoughts on it. I think this season has been the hardest one yet. I think it's, but then again, every season's probably been harder. I think it's going to keep getting harder because if it's not the weather, it's the cost of living. If it's not the cost of living, it's the customers. If it's not the customers, it's going to be a new super coronavirus or something like that. There's always going to be something. This year, obviously, the weather's not helped at all. It really hasn't. As much as I sort of talk about it and maybe, you know, give the impression that I have a bad run with customers, I really don't. This year has been, and this is what I said at the start of the year, this year has been very, very, very good for customers. So it's brought out the real good customers, the sort of the salt of the earth people, where, you know, they're nice people anyway, and they get you as a gardener, and they're just nice people. They try and help you, they don't take the piss, you know, they understand that this is the dynamic. I'm a gardener, they're the customer, and then in between that you've got the majority of my customer base, which is they just want a gardener. They don't want to fuck about, they don't want to fuck about you, they just want someone who will come, cut the grass, cut the hedges, clean the gutters. That's the transaction. They're not bothered about being matey, but they're polite, but they're nice, you know, they just, this is the transaction. And then there'll be, you know, unfortunately, and I have got rid of a load of them, it's just the people which will take advantage, you know, criticise, knock you for money, drive your quote down, everything. They just want everything you can do to save them money, and that's what it boils down to the majority of times, is money. They just want to save money, but it is what it is. So as I said, this year, as I said at the start of the year, I think this year is going to bring out the worst customers and the best customers. It's definitely brought out the best customers, and it's definitely brought the worst customers out, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Overall though, it's gone very well. I can look back on it actually, because I am going to be earning, you know, I have got a little bit of stuff here and there that can be doing, but I'd say overall this is what I'm going to, you know, this is going to be the end of my year. And I can sort of look back and I can think to myself, you know what, it has been a good year. It's been a very, very good year. Now obviously for tax reasons I always, you know, look at it as April to April, but for this, so we're halfway through the year in essence, aren't we? But for me, I always look at it sort of year to year, as in January to, you know, January, or the start of January till the end of December, and it just gives me a rough sort of baseline. And yeah, I can see an upward growth. I can see, you know, it's another year ticked off. You know, it's, I can see the growth, I can see the change, I can see the change in my business. So I am very, very happy, and I'm very happy to be doing a job that I love, and that's something that you can't take for granted, especially now. There's so many people, so many customers of mine that are young, sorry, they've got kids that are, you know, that are in their 20s, you know, where they were like me, where they've left college and they've got like qualifications, but they're finding it hard to get into the sector, or they did what I did, where I knew the college course I was going to go for would be a hard route into a job, but I wanted to do it because I enjoyed it and I was passionate about it and I would like to get the job. But obviously when I left college, it was hard to get a job, and I've got my dream job in a weird way, but I listened to the parents talk, and they're saying about the kids, and like they're saying how hard it is to get a job, and they can't seem to get something permanent. It's not because they're shit. I think it's just, it's like they get a job and then the place goes out of business, and then they get another job and it's only temporary and it's as and when, or 0 hours, and I think, bloody hell. And I do feel sorry for people, I really do. I think it is getting harder, but I think if you can carve your niche out, then it's sort of, it's like, for me, I monetise something which I enjoy doing, which is I enjoy being outside. And I thought to myself, well, if I couldn't work in the job that I wanted to work in, I could work, I could do an equivalent to, which is still working outside. The main one for me though was to be my own boss, and still is to be my own boss. That's the driving thing, that's the thing that really pushes me, is being my own boss. As much as I love people, I love talking to people, I don't like working around people. I couldn't go back to a normal sort of 9-to-5 job. So the highlights for this year has definitely been, I've noticed there's been a personal growth within my business, and to me it feels like the business has got more business-like, and I want to get that more next year. So for me, even just having like a branded hoodie, I know it sounds daft, but even just having that, and having like an identity, as in like SGM or Your Gutters, I feel like the business is going more that route, and I want to take it more next time. I don't want people, and I've noticed this more and more as I've been getting into it, I'm having less and less people saying, and you still get it every so often, but I think it's a symptom of the industry, where people will say to me, is this your full-time job? I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Oh. Or they'll be looking at the back of my van, or they'll comment, they'll be like, oh, that's a nice motor, it's a lot bigger than mine. I'm like, oh, comparing. And they say like, oh, is this your full-time? Did you work elsewhere full-time? No, it's my full-time job. But that's been getting less and less. And even with the work that I've been getting, this year's definitely been the year of the commercial work era. The commercial work that I've got is, probably tripled. And even, to be fair though, commercial is still a small part of my overall sort of revenue, turnover, whatever. But even that's improved in time. Another thing is, and it's not something I've talked about too much, is making, I think all the time you've got to be pushing, and this isn't me trying to be a business guru, but I think all the time you've got to be pushing your business, pushing yourself as far as you can. You've almost got to be, and I feel sometimes like, when you see those sickly proud parents where they'll do sort of whatever they can to sort of swerve the conversation over to their children or something like that. I always think that's how you should be, but not obviously as sickly, not to the extent. I think there's no harm in pushing your business. So for me, in conversation, it's small talk. Quite often you'll be speaking to people, and the thing is, you don't know who you're speaking to, but you'll be speaking to someone. Say if you're in a queue in a takeaway or a cafe, or you're in a supermarket, you're having a chat, and you know what it's like. And where I live, my area is a very small talk based area. You can always have a chat with someone where I live. It's not where, we haven't been bitten by the everybody, just minds about themselves bug yet that you see everywhere else. So quite often you will be talking, and I find you either talk about the weather, or you talk about, you know, to get the conversation going, I always talk about work. So what did you used to do for a living, or what do you do? And then it's two-way normally, and they'll ask me, and the amount of times I've picked up work for just anything, because I say, well, what do you do? Well, I'll look after the properties, I garden. Oh, well, what do you do? I says, well, everything. I said, anything out of your front door we can take care of, whether you want the power. And I always use the term we. I don't know why. I've heard a lot of other gardeners say that. Maybe it's a royal we, you know, that sort of sense. I don't know. Or maybe it's us trying, or me trying to sort of inflate the business. So I always say, yeah, we can take anything outside of your front door, whether you want power washing, gutter cleaning, gardening, hedges cutting, anything you need, matey, just give me a call. And you'll be surprised how much work that does actually lead to. Another thing as well, again in that similar sort of vibe, is in terms of sort of pushing yourself and pushing your business, is last year it wasn't last year, it was this year actually. It feels time goes so strange sometimes, and I think I've said this story before, but I can't remember if I have put it into a video. But this year, and I had to look because I thought it was last year, I did a job for a solicitor's office, and I was clearing, she wanted me to clear the gutters out, no problem. Now I did the gutters, and she come out, and a few of the other office girls come out, and she said about, would you be interested in doing hours, like, you know. I said, yeah, give me a call. Didn't hear a dicky off them, but the solicitor herself said that she'll bear us in mind for any future work. I said, yeah, brilliant. Now I won't go on too much onto this because it is going way off in the rhubarb, but basically what ended up happening, she ended up giving me a call to come and price up to basically do the gardening for this bloke who's passed away. So I got up there, and it was very overgrown, very messy, and she said, look, yeah, just price it up just to get it tidy, because the neighbours are starting to complain. She looks after people's properties when they pass away, and they deal with all that. So I priced it up, and then she says, could you look after it for us? Like, could you come back once a month and just keep on top of it? I says, yeah. So I got one big job out of it to tidy it all up, and then I got a monthly visit, which is still ongoing until the place sells. But while we're in there, she says that she needs to find somebody to clear the inside of the house out, and my brother was with me at the time, and I said, oh, do you want me to give you a price? And I gave her a price. If you want me to talk more about it, I will. So, cutting a long story short, that's led to 2 house clearances from this lady. Both of them have been successful, but it's been, I don't like saying it because it makes you sound like you're fucking, you know, showing off, but it's been very profitable for what it is. It's led to other work, so the gutters have been done and the windows have been done. So like one chat with one lady has yielded a good turnover, but also, and this is what's helped me to stay busy and productive, is it's indoors work. So we've had 4 months of rain, probably 5 months where it just feels like it rains all the time. But for those times I was clearing the properties, so I was indoors. As I said, I won't go into it. You've probably got a million questions, or you might not have. But if you want to know any more thingy, but as I said, like anything, I'm not an expert. I'll just tell you what thingy. But what the difference is it's given a real big sort of cash boost to the business, and also a confidence boost in terms of what we can offer, and also a little bit of a boost towards what I want for my business, which is, I've said this all along, I want to be like down the line, I'd love it to be where people get my business in to basically manage properties. So like this lady, where she just leaves us to it, we sort everything out, we get the place cleared, we get the gardens tidy, the fascias, windows, anything that needs doing outside of that property. I liaise with other people to get other stuff done. It's basically a lady that's very busy running a big business. She can pass it all on to us, and we don't have to, you know, but we just get it sorted, and that's what she likes, and that's where I'd like. Obviously that doesn't gel with everybody. I think the core part of my business is always going to be residential. It's always going to be the bread and butter customers, you know, little old Mrs. such and such and Mr. such and such. That's what my business, I think, is always going to be. But who knows if it pushes it towards that side. So 2023 season, how's it gone? Very good. This is just 15 minutes of me talking very briefly, but have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.